Right now on KCOY 12 Central Coast News at 5. 1 year ago, an oil spill covered Refugio Beach.
And anyone who violates the law in endangering our wildlife and our oceans is going to be held accountable.
Tonight, full coverage of the criminal indictment against the company responsible and thousands of dollars of turf swiped from a Santa Maria elementary school. Why the school won't replace it. Plus, we're wheeling into history.
All right, this is kind of the board that started everything off.
Honoring a skateboarding tradition. KCOY 12 News is on the road in Morro Bay.
And good evening. I'm Melissa Mahan along with Dave Alley and Jason Stiff, and we are live on the road in beautiful Morro Bay tonight. Here we are, Morro Bay Harbor.
Rock, yeah.
There's the rock in all of its glory. Jason, the weather, you know, it can't really decide what it wants to do, but sunshine or fog, it doesn't matter. It's beautiful here.
Yeah, as we were approaching Morro Bay, socked in with the May gray, the sun decided, you know what, if you guys are going to be on TV, I want to be on TV too, as if the sun wasn't famous enough. But the clouds are trying to come back in, so it's going to vary a lot, but I'll talk more about the complete extended forecast coming out.
Sounds great. And Dave, you have something exciting to talk about as well.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about Morro Bay, and I'm going to take you inside a museum here down on the Embarcadero that's giving visitors a unique look at the very fascinating history and culture of skateboarding.
And I had a great time. I came down here, hung around, met some very unique locals who love this area. They tell us exactly why. One of them is a fisherman who lives on his boat down here. Fishing, of course, a big tradition here in Morro Bay. So we're going to hear from the locals in just a bit about why Morro Bay is so special. But first, though, Scott has all the day's headlines for us back in the studio. Scott?
All right, Melissa, Jason, Dave, looking forward to it. Good evening and welcome to KCOY 12 News at 5. I'm Scott Hennessy in our KCOY 12 studios. We begin with some breaking news out of Northern California. An 80-acre grass fire burning across the Thunder Valley Casino Resort in Lincoln. That's outside Sacramento. At this point, lots of white smoke. The fire reported to be about 25% contained. They appear to have gotten it under control just in the last few minutes. Now to the criminal indictments against Plains All-American in last year's Refugio oil spill. The indictment includes 46 charges against Houston-based Plains All-American Pipeline. 4 of those charges are felonies. The pipeline break spilled more than 140,000 gallons of oil across environmentally sensitive land and water. KCOY 12's John Palmenteri reports on the outcome of an extensive investigation.
The negative impacts of this conduct were immediate and tragic.
The Plains All-American pipeline disaster along the Santa Barbara County coastline last year has led to 46 criminal charges. It also brought the state attorney general here to tell the community enforcement action was underway after a criminal grand jury heard testimony, reviewed evidence, and met 14 times before returning an indictment.
Some would say that it is very tough to go after a private corporation when they violate our laws and harm our environment. But if you look at the firepower behind me, I think California has nothing to worry about. There will be a consequence and accountability in this case.
On May 19th of last year, the broken pipeline near Refugio State Beach leaked for hours before it was shut off. It's estimated that 140,000 gallons of oil came out, both on land and into the ocean. The response was massive. The impacts were shocking, from black water, oily beaches, dead birds and marine mammals, and an eyesore that was shown worldwide. Plains All-American Pipeline spoke out regularly about the crisis and the response efforts. But in this criminal case, a different tone was revealed.
In terms of the criminal prosecution, did I find Plains All-American to be cooperative? No.
One employee has been named in the criminal indictment, James Buchanan, an environmental and regulatory compliance specialist, and a conviction could bring 3 years in prison. The rest of the charges are on the company.
Corporations cannot be placed in jail. Therefore, it would be a matter of fines and penalties that would be divided between Santa Barbara County and the state.
In Santa Barbara, John Palmenteri, KCOY 12, Central Coast, local news.
The Plains All-American Pipeline Company issued a lengthy written statement regarding today's actions. Here's a portion of it. Plains believes neither the company nor any of its employees engaged in any criminal behavior at any time in connection with this accident, and criminal charges are unwarranted, the company says. They continue, "We will vigorously defend ourselves against these charges and are confident we will demonstrate that the charges have no merit and represent an inappropriate attempt to criminalize an unfortunate accident," end quote. To read the full statement or watch today's press conference in its entirety, you can go to our website, KCOY.com. 2 men are behind bars tonight, suspected in a stabbing and shooting in Lompoc. We reported it as breaking news last night at 5 o'clock. Here you see the 2 suspects. Efren Aguilera and Marco Dominguez were both located on the 600 block of North B Street. Stray bullets hit a car in a neighborhood full of young families. The shooting followed a stabbing at a second location. Officers say Aguilera threw a knife on the grass as he ran. The victims of both crimes are expected to survive. Vandals have ripped out and stolen a big chunk of artificial grass in the middle of a Santa Maria school. KCOY 12's Natalie Tavidian is live at Jimenez Elementary. Natalie, this is a costly and truly heartless crime, ripping up a play area for kids.
Scott, it is, and students or teachers are very upset and very angry that someone would do this. The principal I spoke with today tells me that the artificial turf has actually been vandalized several times before, but this time thieves walked away with a big chunk of very expensive artificial grass.
Something was wrong here, something was missing, and it was, to me, honestly, it was really sad.
All you see now is a blank spot of concrete and sand.
It's really sad that they took this away because it's like our second home.
What they took away was artificial grass, thousands of dollars worth. The turf was installed in response to the state's ongoing drought.
And then they just pulled it, and it was, once they found that seam, it just became very easy.
Why someone would do this to the students and teachers at Jimenez Elementary, they would like to know.
And it's like someone just coming in and stealing anything from our house. So it's really sad.
Principal Richard Ruiz says the vandals came in through here. They broke the lock and walked onto campus sometime this weekend.
I think it's a sign of the times, a drought. We called SMPD the first time that they vandalized this. This is not the first time that they've done this.
He says at least 4 other times someone tried to steal the artificial grass from 2 different areas of the campus. In this spot in the middle of campus, the thieves succeeded. In the other spot, they damaged it, meaning kindergarten students won't be able to play here until it's fixed.
It tears my heart in half because here we are, we're trying to make things beautiful for our community, for our children, and then there's people out there that don't give it a second thought and come and vandalize this when we work so hard to make this a beautiful place so kids want to come to school.
The Santa Maria Bonita School District says it can't afford the $15,000 it would cost to replace the ripped out artificial grass.
Everybody in our class was really sad for the amount of time. We still are really sad.
And the district is considering installing cameras around campus now. And in the meantime, they want people to be on the lookout and call the Santa Maria Police Department if they have any other information about this vandalism. Reporting live in Santa Maria, Natalie Tavidian, KCOY 12 Central Coast News.
Natalie, thank you. A pickup truck driver is charged with driving drunk and crashing into a scooter on a Santa Barbara street. A KCOY 12 camera was there as the driver, Duncan Brown, was arrested and taken into custody. We checked on the rider. 31-year-old Daniel Ontiveros is still in critical condition at Cottage Hospital. Detectives say he broke several bones in Monday's crash. Police say Ontiveros was wearing a helmet, but the impact threw him into the truck's windshield. The Amgen Tour of California is making its way up the Central Coast with more than 140 of the world's best cyclists hitting the road. Just about an hour ago, bicyclists on the Amgen Tour crossed the finish line at the top of Gibraltar Road. This is Stage 3 of the state's largest professional bike race. The Stage 3 winner is Julien Alaphilippe from France. After about 100 miles, riders had to traverse the steep, winding road to the top. Spectators lined the last stretch to cheer on the racers. Tomorrow morning, Stage 4 will start in the shadow of Morro Rock in Morro Bay. That's where KCOY 12's Amanda Valdez talked to business owners and locals about what the tour means to the city. Amanda?
Scott
Scott, not everyone seems to feel the same way about the tour. A lot of people are excited to see it. Today we spoke to one local business owner whose hotel is completely sold out because of it, but others are thinking it's just going to create one big mess. Excitement is building up in Morro Bay just hours before a world-class cyclist from the Amgen tour ride through the city. One local we spoke with says he has been following the tour ever since it first started. It's something he follows closely. A hotel business owner says she has no more room at her place. 16 bike riders will be checking in later today. She says the tour is going to help put Morro Bay on the map and bring extra tourism to the city.
It's bringing a lot of notoriety to Morro Bay, which is so important for us, for the Central Coast, and overall tourism.
It's a great event, and those folks who live here, and even tourists, are really missing out if they don't catch it.
The excitement is not shared by everyone. Other business owners who did not want to go on camera say the tour is going to create one big mess and take up parking spaces that would otherwise be used by their usual customers. Now, riders tomorrow will be leaving from Morro Rock after 10 a.m. For a list of road closures, you can go to our website on KCOY.com. In Morro Bay, I'm Amanda Valdez, KCOY 12 Central Coast News.
And we are on the road in Morro Bay tonight. Melissa joins us once again. Melissa, you had a chance to talk to some locals about what they love about living in Morro Bay.
In boxes.
I did, Scott. You know, and the locals, they really do love it here. They said that there's truly something for everyone, and that's what makes this area so special. Now, whether it's taking a stroll down the Embarcadero to the shops, the restaurants, the museums, maybe heading out on a kayak or a paddleboard, taking a boat ride, a sunset cruise, or even a breakfast cruise, there really is something for everybody, and people we talk to just can't get enough.
The merchants are all very, very friendly. The food is delicious. There's absolutely nothing I don't love about this place. I love the ocean, the bay, the beautiful air. It's fresh. The boats, the harbor. It's just what we love.
And one of the big fixtures here in the harbor, of course, the boat. Sport fishing, a big industry in this area. Also, commercial fishing has a very rich and long history in Morro Bay. Actually, a couple of years ago, the city just received a national award to preserve the historic fishing industry while also making it more sustainable. So lots of really exciting stuff going on here. And Dave, incidentally, I did talk to a fisherman who lives on his boat down here in Morro Bay. He's been here a long time, knows a lot about the history. I also talked to some other locals as well, so we're going to have a full story on that coming up at 6. But no matter where you go around here, who you talk to, people just love it.
Yeah, and there's so much to do and experience in Morro Bay, and when you think Morro Bay, there's so many iconic different things. Obviously, those smokestacks right there definitely count. Some don't like them, some think it's, it's part of the history. Of course, the Rock. Now, when I think of Morro Bay, when I was a kid, used to come here with my parents. They'd always go to the art gallery. There's so many of them here. It's just a fascinating place.
So much to do. Well, we're going to be back here live in Morro Bay in just a bit. First, though, ahead, you were just in Pismo Beach on the road last week. Splash Cafe, a famous spot. They're getting recognized for an award. Not their clam chowder. We're going to tell you what it is.
That clam chowder is excellent, though, as Jason and I and Scott can attest to. Yeah, we're going to look back here in Morro Bay at a popular museum. It's going to roll visitors through the exciting and fascinating history of skateboarding. You don't want to miss that. KCOY 12 Central Coast News on the road. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are live on the road in beautiful Morro Bay. Now, this coastal city offers a wide variety of tourist destinations, many of which, as you might imagine, relate to the ocean, obviously. But down on the Embarcadero across the harbor here is a very interesting museum that takes visitors there inside on a very unique trip into the past, present, and history of skateboarding.
All right, this is kind of the board that started everything off.
Jack Smith started skateboarding more than 40 years ago.
Found an old skateboard in my friend's backyard, and we started skating.
It was the beginning of a lifelong connection with the then just emerging sport.
I was drawn to the racing side of skateboarding, so I was able to race professionally for a number of years.
Afterwards, his career continued in sales and marketing. During that time, Smith began collecting boards and eventually wanted to share them with the public.
About 4 years ago, I told my wife, I said, hey, I want to try opening a skateboard museum in Morro Bay. And she said, go for it, and here we are.
There are few places like it anywhere in the world.
This is where it really gets interesting, and skateboarding took off.
The Morro Bay Skateboarding Museum offers a rare historical look into this unique culture.
It's a little breathtaking just how many different things there are. You just kind of walk around and see some of the old skateboards. You know, you can tell just kind of the time periods they come from.
This is what we call our 80s wall. As you can see, the boards are very wide.
On display, boards, wheels, trucks, and decks dating all the way back to the 1950s. There's also a wide range of memorabilia, photographs, autographs, and other artifacts.
It's a different version of an art gallery right here. It's definitely very visually enticing. It's an expression, kind of like music is our art.
For a lot of the visitors to the museum, checking out the displays is like a roll down memory lane where they may see a type of skateboard they rode when they were younger.
As someone who rode a skateboard back in the 60s, I parked across the street and saw the sign and thought, I wonder if they have a skateboard like mine, and sure enough, there's one over on the wall.
The museum draws visitors from around the world.
France, Germany, Spain, Australia, Russia, everywhere.
Many who may not initially even be interested.
Sometimes I'll hear people on the street say, what? A skateboard museum? And then they come in, and then they don't leave for an hour.
With so much to see and experience, guests who step inside for the ride definitely won't be bored. Now, that's for sure. Now, there's no admission to go in and visit, but donations highly encouraged. They got to stay open. They are open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday from 11 to 5, weekends from 10 to 5. Very, very interesting.
Awesome stuff, Dave. That's awesome. And get in there, no admission, make a donation. And Jason, we're fighting with the sun and the fog. I can't decide who's winning tonight.
Yes, they're battling, and it looks like the fog monster is going to win again. But the sun has been trying to make its appearance here just in the last few minutes. But we do expect more of the marine layer to push on shore. It's pretty comfortable in Morro Bay. It's warmer now than it's been all day. Currently 59 degrees. However, other locations are warmer than that. It's cooler in Pismo Beach at 58 degrees, but it's warmer in Santa Maria, 67 degrees, 69 in San Luis Obispo. If you want the really warm temperatures, Paso Robles is the place to go. Currently 88, but the high today was 90. Not quite as warm in Lompoc at 64 degrees, and most of the wind around the region is fairly light. Most locations less than 10 miles an hour, but a little bit stronger in Paso Robles at 16 miles an hour out of the south and 10 to 12 miles an hour in Lompoc. The humidity is obviously higher along the coast, very dry inland, but we do expect more of the low clouds to start pushing on shore overnight tonight through tomorrow morning. Now, we have a lot more active weather in other parts of the country. Lots of rain, lots of thunderstorms over the Gulf Coast, especially around the Florida Panhandle and the peninsula also. We have a little bit more rain around, say, Chicago, as well as parts of Indiana. More thunderstorms over Texas and also Arizona and New Mexico. Lots of rain and thunderstorms there as an area of low pressure slowly churns over the region. But for the West Coast, it's still fairly quiet. We have a ridge of high pressure just to our west, and there's a large area of low pressure still off the coast of British Columbia that is moving our direction, but it's still several days away. As it approaches, though, by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's going to give us even more of the low clouds and areas of fog. We'll have a little bit less tomorrow, though, with that ridge of high pressure. We'll still have some low clouds and fog right around the central coast and south coast, but noticeably less than we've had recently. It won't last very long, though, as we progress into Thursday and especially Friday. We'll have more of the low clouds and fog during the morning hours, and it's going to be tougher and tougher to get rid of it as we move into the afternoon and evening hours as well. So the temperatures, well, they're going to be pretty comfortable as we move into tomorrow. Tomorrow should be the warmest day for everybody going forward for the next 7 days. Around Santa Maria, expecting a high of 73 degrees. Not quite as warm in Lompoc, but we'll take 70. It will certainly be warmer in Santa Ynez at 82 degrees. Heading further north, even hotter for Paso Robles, a high of 92. 77 degrees for a high in San Luis Obispo. And we'll have a little bit more of the stubborn low cloudiness around the south coast, expecting a nice, mild, seasonable high of 73 in Santa Barbara. The next 7 days in Santa Maria and Orcutt, we do expect increasing clouds, especially Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's going to be tougher and tougher to see the sun, more low clouds and fog. Those highs will get a little bit below average in the upper 60s and lower 70s, and then start to rebound by the early part of next week. San Luis Obispo, same situation, cooling down to the lower 70s this coming weekend. That's it from the Morro Bay area. We'll be back after this.
to do it at 5 o'clock from Morro Bay, but we have a lot more coming at 6, and I think we're all trying to find a boat we can hop on and just cruise out in the sunset, right?
There's a lot of them. We just take our pick.
Probably should ask the owner first so we don't get in any, the captain,
Good idea,
if you will.
good idea, yes.
All right, well, we had such a great time out here. We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock. Lots more from Morro Bay, and if you're in the area, come down, say hi. We'll be down here at 6 o'clock. Have a good one.